A big reason why I don't trust game journalists is because they focus on the wrong things. They ignore things if they don't want to talk about them. They don't accept the fact that there are bad things that happen in the industry that they might agree with that other people wouldn't agree with. They will defend game companies at all costs so they don't get on their bad sides, and they completely ignore real issues, like how companies try to squeeze people for as much money as possible, like how censorship is a big problem in the industry, and unfortunately, we can't count on journalists to defend us gamers because they try to act like they care about the industry, yet they also call gamers toxic, degenerate incels. But with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I honestly thought that it was going to release, be a good game, and even though the Legendary cache is way overpriced, especially because it doesn't even come with a copy of the game, a very good game in my opinion. I'm not trying to say the Mass Effect games are bad. Well, the end of the last one was pretty bad, but the other games were pretty good. I was pretty excited for it, but I thought that it was going to be a good set of remasters. We'd all buy it and enjoy it, and that's just not what happened. Apparently, to Twidiots, I'm a disgusting, degenerate, woman-hating incel, all because I don't think censorship is okay. So I wanted to read quite a few tweets that have been sent to me over the past couple of days, but also skim over some of the articles journos are trying to put out to defend this game's censorship. The first one is Polygons, and this is the type of title we are seeing extremely often. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will dial down the butt shots. These companies and these journalists are so afraid to use the word censorship. They do not want to admit that this is censorship, even if it's something small, even if it is a camera angle. Maybe in other games we've seen things like skirt views, like looking up someone's skirt. They don't want to ever use the word censorship because they don't want to admit that it's censorship. They want to stay on the good side of these companies. And if you look at someone like me, I just call it outright. If I see censorship, I call it censorship. I don't say they're gonna dial something down. No, I say that they're censoring something, they're removing something. But this article mainly talks about situations that I've already covered. It says BioWare announced the release date and new details for the much-anticipated Mass Effect Legendary Edition this week. While the biggest updates in the remaster to the series are cosmetic, one specific change piqued the interest and ire of fans. The remaster will alter camera cuts that focus on characters' butts. They tried to downplay it. Again, same thing with IGN. Mass Effect Legendary Edition changes some gratuitous camera shots. They keep using this word gratuitous. They keep trying to, again, avoid using big terms like censorship because they don't want to. It says BioWare has altered some camera shots from the Mass Effect series for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition remaster package. And then we also have this banger of an article from Metro. Mass Effect can be super sexist, and I'm glad they're changing it. Oh yes, let's praise censorship because I agree with it. It says, like every Mass Effect fan, I was very excited to hear about the long-awaited remasters of the whole trilogy. Like I've said, I was pretty excited for it. I thought that it was going to be good, and now we see that there's a lot of problems with this project, at least in my opinion. I was especially excited, it says, because BioWare has gone to a lot more effort than just increasing the resolution, and there seem to be a lot of changes to character models, lighting, and improving the action of the first game to be more like the second two. All of that sounds great, and while I'd like to see some new content or something done about the ending of Mass Effect 3, I appreciate that's far too much work for what a remaster is. What I am glad to see, though, is that they've acknowledged that the original games could be pretty gross when it came to how they portrayed women. I disagree with this. I think the portrayal of the women in Mass Effect are perfectly fine. I'm a woman who is okay with seeing strong, independent, sexy female characters in video games, and I really don't think that there's anything wrong with the way that they've been portrayed, whether it's the outfits that they wear, or their attitudes, or their character models, or the camera angles. It doesn't matter. I think that they did the females justice in these video games, games, and of course, they're trying to say that they could be seen as pretty gross now. Before people start complaining, I'm not suggesting that the game should be banned or BioWare should be cancelled. I'll be first in line to buy the remasters, and there are still some Asari characters I like. However, I am glad that BioWare have recognized how problematic these characters are and have made steps to address them. I'm a female. I really don't think that they're problematic. I'm sure that there are a lot of females out there who agree with me. I mean, even on my past videos on these topics about the censorship and the legendary cache, I have a lot of females in my audience who are like, I agree with you. I don't think that this is a problem. And I know, again, that a lot of females would agree with my opinion over this one. I wanted to go to Twitter, though, because there is just a lot going on Twitter. So this is a person who is a guides editor for Fanbyte Media who initially tweeted this out, and I did mention this in my last video, but they said BioWare cut some of the questionable camera angles in Mass Effect 2, like the ones focusing on Miranda's butt, and gamers are mad. They decided to put out yet another hot take that I actually had retweeted. They said gamers when BioWare removes shots highlighting a butt during serious scenes by their own choice. Bunch of angry faces. Censorship. Gamers when it's revealed BioWare removed queer romances because of Fox News. ZZZZZ. I retweeted it and said journalists when a company isn't inclusive enough for their standards. A bunch of angry faces. Journalists when people don't want censorship. Toxic incels complain all the time about butts. So tiring. I am so sick of people saying they're guides editors for gaming websites and they're game journalists, attacking the people who they expect to read their work, to pay attention to them, to make them money, basically. Because if you're a guides editor for a video game and you're doing reviews for video games, I don't know who's the one that's going to be reading your stuff. Gamers. Stop attacking gamers because we're worried about censorship. Censorship is a very big deal in the gaming industry. It has gotten worse over the past couple of years, and people like this need to look at all of the facts. They are so narrow-minded. They only look at one situation at a time. They don't look at the bigger picture. Now, apparently to some people, my opinion is pretty damn outrageous because I've actually had quite a few negative comments made towards me on Twitter and also in the comments of my previous videos. But someone had initially said on Twitter, the amount of Mass Effect fanboys crying censorship at BioWare because they decided to adjust the camera angle on a virtual woman's butt is really amazing. And I had retweeted it and said the amount of Mass Effect fanboys defending BioWare for outright censoring cutscenes involving females and unempowering attractive females is really pitiful. And someone named Sapphire Affection had actually responded to my tweet and said, ass shots removed, let's cry like little babies. Get over yourselves. If you want to see a butt, it's simple, go and watch porn. This is such a pathetic argument. I said it's not about seeing butt, it's censorship. Mortal Kombat females? Censored. Producers gave up on censoring Kagura over Sony's censorship policies. Catherine Full Body? Censored. Dead or Alive 6 females? Censored. Give them an inch and they take a mile. But get over it, fake outrage. And they really, really didn't like this response that I gave. Because listen to this. I'm the type of person who wants to have a conversation about an issue, try to bring attention to an issue, and I thought by bringing up these examples, maybe they'd look into it more, but they decided to retweet my comment. Wow, bring up games that fit your point. I don't care about ass in games. I care if it belongs in the scene, and if it does, go for it. Yet if it doesn't, then yeah, it shouldn't be there. Why does a character have to be defined based on her assets? So first of all, they're defending censorship here, but they say, wow, bring up games that fit your point. That's the point of a rational argument and a rational conversation about something we clearly disagree on. It is about stating my case and providing evidence, which I do because they literally responded to the tweet I made, where I gave several examples of games being censored, like Dead or Alive 6, Senran Kagura, Mortal Kombat. All of these games have been censored in one way or another. Censorship in the name of tastefulness is a lie. Censorship is about control, and with these giant companies worth millions and sometimes billions of dollars, if you give them an inch, they take a mile. We need to call them out when they're doing something like censoring games and censoring very strong, sexy female characters. If you can't see the narrative behind that, and the narrative that's been perpetuated over the past few years about covering up women's bodies and sexuality, you're pretty blind to the situation that's going on. When I talk about censorship, it's not about a butt just being censored and I'm outraged. When a female's outfit changes, it's not just about that, it's about censorship. It's about things being altered like these original games. People aren't looking at the bigger picture here, they're only looking at Mass Effect censorship. Mortal Kombat 11, females were covered up and censored. Dead or Alive 6 females, covered up and censored. Action Tyneman's characters, censored. Jill in Resident Evil 3, censored. Games are censored extremely often. It wasn't just this one situation. Let's use statues as an example here. What if Glycan von Athens statues like Farnese Hercules offend me? What if I want them covered up? That is so 3rd century AD. We need it covered up because it's offensive to me. It's like, what if they used pictures, or these pictures, let's say with the statue in an art book, but covered the genitals up? These people need to look at the bigger picture, not just zero in on this one situation. Now listen, I'm not calling for a boycott of this game. If you really want to go and buy it, you go for it. I can't stop you, and ultimately, you should be allowed to enjoy a video game because it is just a video game, but this is the type of product that shouldn't succeed, and when you're trying to get people to buy a cash for a game that comes with no game, and you're trying to change camera angles to take the focus off of a female character's body, I don't really want to support that. Companies need to respect the people who buy their games, and journalists need to stop acting like they're above everyone else. We see it happen time and time again, and I know that there are a lot of people out there who are getting really fed up with these game journalists, and they're going to start really losing a lot of their viewers if they continue to attack the very people they need to succeed. But let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, subscribe to the channel, and of course if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.